Hop, je règle juste la qualité, c'est bon. Salut tout le monde, comme la semaine dernière, on va faire une réaction au stream de Into the Light. Ça est censé commencer dans 1 minute, je crois. Et il me semble que dans ce stream, ils vont présenter le loot et peut-être la tour, enfin la nouvelle tour, mais je suis pas sûr, je m'en souviens plus. Si le son est encore pourri, je suis désolé, c'est parce que en semaine je suis pas chez moi, donc je suis obligé d'enregistrer avec le micro de mes écouteurs. Donc désolé, voilà. Ça devrait pas tarder à commencer. D'ailleurs, j'ai regardé aussi, enfin, il me semble que j'avais dit dans la vidéo de la semaine dernière que je mettais pas le chat parce que ça allait être beaucoup de haine. Ah.
Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, good day, and good time zone to you all, and welcome back to our second of 3 live streams to go ahead and talk about what's going to be coming with Destiny 2 Into the Light on April 9th. As a reminder, everything you're about to see is available to all players, just as was everything last week when we went ahead and had a chance to go ahead and walk through Onslaught. Now, today we've obviously got a few topics that we touched on last week. We got a new social space to go ahead and check out. We're going to look at some rewards, obviously, and maybe an up-close and personal look at the Brave Arsenal. But of course, I'm not the only one who's going to be talking through it. I'm joined by an all-star cast of folks here from the Bungie development team, and I'm going to go ahead and go on down the line and introduce them. If you were here last week, you obviously recognize his face, but Tom
Ouais, c'est ça, du coup ils vont présenter la tour, les armes, et après j'ai pas entendu. Bon, lui il était là la semaine dernière.
And obviously there's some stuff we're going to be looking at today that's kind of like full circle.
Yeah.
With, the Space Tiger logo and the light there from the early days of Destiny. And I've been fortunate to, I was able to place the Kovastov way back in Cosmo for y'all to pick up.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, that was something. Obviously, it was foundation. Teams are stronger than heroes is a big team effort, but there's a few things that I'm really had a chance to work and proud to interact with players. And then there's some things I'm a little more infamous for, like placing the drop pods in Homecoming.
So follow him on Twitter, let him know how you thought about that, right?
And then over the past few years, I've been working on seasons and things like the 30th and Into the Light as a creative lead.
Awesome. Very cool. Thank you very much for your hard work. As someone who's played a lot of it, excited to go ahead and dive in more with even more of it today. And of course, also we're joined by Chris Proctor, Senior Design Lead here at Bungie. Chris, for the fine folks at home who may not have heard you on a podcast or know anything about you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Bungie?
Yeah, Andy, thanks. I joined Bungie 4.5 years ago as weapons feature lead.
Lui, il me semble qu'il a présenté le Tessellation, le fusil à fusion de précommande de The Final Shape.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. We obviously have a lot of stuff to talk through with the Brave Arsenal today, and greatest hits, I think, is probably the best way to describe it. And of course, last but very not least, down at the end, the one and only Kelsey Rice, systems designer here at Bungie. Kelsey, how are you doing
Je sais pas qui
today?
c'est.
Hello, I'm doing great.
All right, well, obviously the third verse, same as the second and the first. For the folks at home who may not know you or know anything about your work, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Bungie?
Yes, I'd love to. First, yes, I'm a systems designer at Bungie. I've been here for about 2.5 years, and I work on a lot of fun stuff like quests and pursuits and progressions, a lot of like spreadsheet design, which I really love.
The fabric that holds all of our adventures together, honestly.
Yes.
Very exciting. Well, obviously you've had a big hand Into the Light as well today. We're going to go ahead and dive into that here in just a bit. But before we go ahead and dive on, is there anything you guys are excited about today in particular, or should we just go ahead and show rather than just tell? What do you think? Show it is. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and dive on in. Dive on in, rather. So we're going to start off. We have a brand new social space, the Hall of Champions, that we're going to go ahead and check on out. Kelsey, Kelsey's the one who's responsible for taking us through that. So shall you return to the throne world, obviously, and dive on in?
Bring me your tithes.
Perfect. Excellent. That's right. There are tithes to be gathered. Now, while we're on the way, Tom, the Hall of Champions is a brand new social space here in Destiny 2. Where is this? Where are we going to, where's this place been? Why are we checking it out now?
So Shax has carved out just a little bit of the backstage of the tower.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a few little fun nods here.
Elle a la recluse dans les mains là.
Yep. All right, well, now on screen.
C'est une nouvelle PM.
On screen here we got Sweepybot, and this is actually the lead up.
Ah, c'est en gros c'est le garage de la tour quoi.
Yeah, this is where there's an off season for a lot of the.
Elle a un lance-grenade en principal, c'est le sommet.
And yeah, there's a little snow there. There's some greenery.
This is interesting. All right, so we found a bit of the storage room to a degree. So he's carved out space maybe that has been hiding in plain view potentially for other sweeper pots or red jacks.
En vrai, j'aime bien là pour l'instant. Là, il y avait le skimmer. J'aime bien cet endroit, l'espèce de garage de la tour, c'est stylé.
Noah put it here himself.
No, and all the space. Like if we just take a step forward, you're gonna get, there we go. Here's the Champions Hall.
Here
the Hall of Champions.
All right, so this is the Hall of Champions.
Ah, c'est un peu comme le hall des tribus en fait.
Carved out Eternity for the 30th anniversary. Shax has kind of set this space aside for us, and Into the Light, where all your armor, your weapons,
Oh,
your rewards.
Recluse, il y avait marqué.
Your home base for Into the Light.
Excellent, awesome. All right, well, Kelsey, can you go ahead and show us a little bit? We're going to go ahead and walk up here. We see a whole bevy of chests actually. Let's go ahead and start there. What do we?
Donc la recluse, c'est sûr, elle revient.
Start cracking these open rather.
Yeah, so as you can see, this space is just full of chests. You can see here all
Ouais, ça fait penser un peu à la saison de l'opulence avec la barge, avec tous les coffres.
You can come here to redeem this currency, trophies of bravery that you're going to earn from completing Onslaught and from playing the broad game in Destiny. So all of these trophies here, if you progress your hype with Shax, you'll be able to spend them here at all these chests to get a really cool set of armor. I can pull open my character so you can see what that looks like on the hunter.
That's right. Also too, so for the folks at
Ah
home,
non, c'est peut-être pas la... Mais si, c'est le design du sommet.
As a quick reminder, this is actually an armor set that's inspired by year 1 of Destiny 2.
J'aime bien le casque.
Tom, this is the parade armor set, I believe.
Peut-être le torse.
So like
Moi, ce qui m'intéresse, c'est les armes. Là, la recluse et le sommet, mais c'est un reskin, je comprends pas.
Had it in Homecoming. It's kind of a classic set. We're again like full circle here. With we were like beginning the Destiny 2 saga there, and now we're kind of, you know, ending the fight here. We're getting ready to take the fight to the Witness, and Shax has got this iconic set of armor. We're calling it the Parade Armor 2.0.
J'aime pas trop la gueule, par contre, c'est la recluse du tigre là sur le viseur. Moi, je sais que quand on vise, ça va s'enlever, mais je sais pas.
Very nice. And also too, for folks out there, we have.
Oh, ils ont remis
Kelsey, can we check out the armor set one more time?
le robot qu'il y avait dans Destiny 1 à côté de
Also
Shax.
too, so this is an up close and personal look, obviously, at this armor set, which will be available to everyone that goes ahead and jumps into the light.
Elle a des stats à chier par contre sur son chasseur.
We should also say that you can go ahead and see in the key art as well, but obviously this will be arriving on April 9th, so you'll get a chance to go ahead and go hands-on. But yeah, it's looking fresh, honestly. I wouldn't be upset to go ahead and don that armor. Oh boy,
Yeah,
and
it's
there's
really
some
interesting, like setting all these, working on all this stuff because we were kind of waiting to finally see that set, and finally being able to equip it in game was just such a cool experience.
Yeah, honestly. All right, so we're obviously equipped. We've got an armor set that we're going to go ahead and be chasing down, but we're now hanging out with Shax, and is that our site over there as well?
Yes, that is our site. And one last chest I want to point out here.
Oh,
too.
please.
This one is going to be your hub for just grinding out weapons. So those trophies that you'll be collecting with Shax, you can just keep redeeming them here, and you'll be able to get all your guns here. And this one here is we're bringing back the gift of the Thunder Gods.
Ah voilà, je me disais, ça me fait penser au coffre qu'il y avait dans la saison du butin.
That's something you can do as well.
That's right, and honestly, it's again, as a reminder, this is available to all players, and so if you've got any friends that maybe aren't
Qu'est-ce
quite
que
at that
c'est
powerful cap,
derrière?
also, actually, should double check, this will bring folks up to the powerful cap, was it?
Powerful, not pinnacle.
That's right, okay, perfect, all right. So for your friends that want to go ahead and dive in right alongside you, even if they maybe haven't played, very much recently, they got a chance to go ahead and just catch right up.
They'll be ready.
Be ready for day one, that's right. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and talk to Shax actually as a starting point. So how are we going to be working with Shax, obviously? He's opened up his Den of Antiquities to us, but Kelsey, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we need to pull out all the stops in defeating the Witness. So Shax has opened up his brave arsenal for us. And as you can see, Shax is really like the shining star of this area. I've been kind of panning by all these hollow Shaxes that line the space, which I'll be happy to talk about in a moment.
Oh yes.
But yeah, let's go talk to him and see what he's got. So over the course of Into the Light, as you earn reputation with him, you're going to be able to progress and get all this cool stuff. One thing in particular I want to point out.
Interesting.
This
Super Black Key Alpha.
A super black key. Is that what I'm seeing over there, Kelsey?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
C'est pour l'Arsenal sombre.
So maybe people that are D1 vets potentially from back in the day might remember this. Is this what's this
No?
symbiote we're looking back here?
Yeah, right now it's pretty powerful. It's in containment, but
C'est quoi, c'est de
if
l'Aria?
you keep playing Into the Light, you'll be able to get access to the keys you need to unlock this, and get access to the shader.
So good.
Ah non, c'est un
Alright, so
shader.
obviously too, yes,
Attends,
as a
quoi?
reminder, heads up to everyone. So one of the ultimate rewards available through this will indeed be the return of the Super Black shader.
Le jour où ça sort, je joue toute la journée.
There's probably some song lyrics to go along with that. I
Et
couldn't tell you
je
what they
farm
are, but I
jusqu'à
will
ce que
say
j'ai...
to the Destiny Fashion subreddit, we are prepared for you to go ahead and take this on wholesale. So actually, let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go ahead and just equip Super Black and give it a look really quickly. Oh,
Oh! Oh!
how do you feel? Come on.
Oh!
It does not get much
Il est
better
enfin
than that.
sorti! Oh ouais! Oh, c'est
Alright.
bon, ça je ne
So
le
Shaxx is
quitte
obviously
pas de
gonna
mon
be there to
chasseur.
help us get rewards. In addition to the Brave Arsenal and the armor, Super Black is waiting for us. So tell us a little bit about Arsight as well. Actually, he's I'm not sure if many people in the chat know about him. He's usually lived in lore entries, but let's go ahead and get a look and see what we're going to be working with him on.
Yeah. So our site has a lot of quests for us, and we did some pretty interesting things, in my opinion, with.
Il y a l'épée là, la guillotine actionnée, le lance-grenade, je sais pas ce que c'est.
They're going to unlock a couple things. They also have
Voilà, ça c'est le jury du
fun
pendu.
ones that we had a lot of fun working
De
on.
succession?
So for every single weapon that we're going to be talking about today, there's a corresponding quest. Once you've
Mais
completed the
succession, il est
quest
dans
for
un
that
raid.
weapon, you're going to be able to unlock access to that weapon dropping as rewards. But there's two other really cool things that we can talk about there. One, we have these special limited edition appearances for the Brave Arsenal.
Yeah.
So completing these quests, you're going to get a guaranteed, curated copy of these limited edition weapons.
Excellent.
Which I'm happy to show because they look rad. And you'll unlock attunement, which is something I can talk about in a second.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's take a look at some of these.
Yeah, so here's a
Ouais,
look,
c'est
of
le
course,
sommet! Yes, yes,
obviously the
yes!
folks at home, they may remember this one. I get a hunch that chat obviously is getting a little excited, but I know it's.
Ah, il a la perque micro-missile. Avec le sort de recharge auto, c'est bon. Je le quitte plus, c'est mon arme préférée. Ça a toujours été mon arme préférée dans le jeu. Ah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what the limited edition variants of these are that are available?
J'en ai rien à foutre que le PVP il soit. Ouais, la recluse. Avec Master of Arms. Enfin, maîtrise d'armes ou je sais plus quoi là. Oh. Bah en fait, ils ont vraiment repris les... Bon après, ça sera des random rolls, mais ils ont vraiment repris les armes. God Roll là, et ils ont ressorti. Ça par contre, je sais plus ce que c'est. Je crois que c'était un lance-grenade qui tombait beaucoup pendant Renégat, mais genre lui, je m'en bats un peu les couilles quoi. Guillotine actionnée, j'ai déjà le God Roll de la saison de l'arrivée, donc...
Makes sense. Yeah. So the base versions will continue to be available. All right. So there's the ultimate I was there version with the limited edition on there, but other than that, after the final shape launches, people.
J'étais en train de me dire, est-ce que c'est ça? Ouais, c'est ça. Avec boucherie et killing tally. Oh, oh les dégâts, mon pote. Oh. Oh. Oh, par contre, le problème, c'est qu'elles ont un skin... Ah, mais non, mais peut-être... Je sais pas. Elles ont un skin différent, et ça, c'est chiant, parce que j'ai supprimé, moi, mes armes avec l'ancien skin, et je préférais l'ancien skin. Mais je sais pas si, en appliquant le shader de l'arsenal sombre, ça va remettre l'arme de base.
One cool thing that you can do when completing these weapon quests, once they're available at our site, is attune to a weapon. So let's say that there's a weapon you really want to drop. You can bend luck in your favor and make it more likely for that weapon to appear. So, for example, I can do that now. Let's do.
Elle avait le Luna, je crois, derrière la recluse. Le hurlement de Luna.
If you're looking around, you'll see there's all of these Shaxxes everywhere, which we just had an absolute blast working with and coming up with. And once you've unlocked
un holster de charge auto Evorpal sur le sommet. Oh, avec grenade à pointe, si ça y est. Je sais que ça a été nerf, mais c'est toujours un 12% de dégâts en plus.
There we go.
Got our thumbs up, we're
Get
good.
the affirmation from Shaxx, never hurts.
Yeah, I can always use more affirmations from
It never hurts, honestly. He shouts them very effectively, I might add.
Et donc apparemment ça c'est pour obtenir plus de, enfin avoir plus de chances que ça drop.
You can just visit another one. I could even just go and, you know, unattune and reattune to my heart's content. Just once you've unlocked it, you can do that at any time. So yeah, pick your favorites that you want to chase, and you'll have a much higher chance of getting them.
Ouais, c'est ça.
All right. Obviously,
Tu
the
fais
Hollow Champions
un...
has a
Quand tu
lot
t'approches
in
de ces
store. There's
statues et
even
que tu
more,
l'actives,
obviously,
ça te donne
happening
plus
as
de
you
chances
hear, but,
d'obtenir l'arme que tu
we
veux.
see what you're saying in chat. I feel the electricity in the air. I should also note one more thing. You should all go out and farm with impunity to go ahead and get the rolls you want ultimately, because with the arrival of the final shape, we'll indeed be adding 100 more vault slots. So go out there,
Oh!
grab the
Avec
rolls, grab
l'arrivée
27
de la
of them,
forme finale, ils vont
hold on
rajouter
to them so you get a chance to
100
Google which one has
slots
the
en
god roll.
plus
All
dans
up to you,
le
but
coffre.
we just wanted to let you know that with the
Bon, moi
arrival
je m'en
of the
fous,
final
mon coffre
shape,
il est jamais plein,
you'll be
mais...
getting 100 more vault slots. So go ahead and dive on in and grab whatever you want to go ahead.
LC Rifle?
Excellent. All right.
Quoi?
I think that's a solid tour of the Hall of Champions.
Le LC Rifle,
maybe
c'était
at this point we go ahead and
l'impulsion de
start
D1 là, que
diving on
t'obtenais à la fin de
Brave
la
Arsenal.
campagne.
Tom, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'll hop in. Let's go clean out some lost sectors.
There we go. Excellent.
Yeah.
We got some demos to run as well. All right, everyone. So this is as a quick look at the Hall of Champions as well. Now we're going to go ahead and dive on in and look at the Brave Arsenal. Now, Chris, obviously you were intrinsically involved with kind of setting this whole thing up, with building the Brave Arsenal, deciding what was out there.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about, how you guys landed on this iconic set of Destiny weapons for Into the Light?
Yeah, I mean, we all have our own favorite weapons internally, and wanted to make sure that we delivered on a ton of nostalgia for the whole Destiny 2 weapon set.
Yeah.
If you look on Reddit or Twitter, there are hundreds of weapons that these could be.
Yeah.
We had to narrow it down to 12. It's like we couldn't reasonably fit any more into the activity.
Yeah.
Oh
We couldn't
yes!
necessarily afford to make
Oh
bigger than
l'impulsion
that.
avec
Here we
Head
go.
So it's,
Seeker et l'autre perk, je la
yeah,
connais
a
pas,
whole
c'est une
set of
nouvelle
weapons
perk.
from across Destiny's history. A few recent ones, most of them are from.
Mais je suis dégoûté qu'elles aient un skin
Yeah.
moche.
So for those who have been terrorized by Blast Furnace and the Crucible, it's back now.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly,
Le
Tom, let's go
Midnight
ahead and just
Coupe, là,
kind of
juste en
walk through
dessous.
these. Let's go ahead and take us at a hung jury I see next as well.
Sure, I can just. Do you want me to
Okay,
I'll
let's start
just
with the
mouse
blast.
over them here? Blast furnace.
Bon, un jury, j'en ai rien à
Jury.
foutre.
Jury returns as well.
Succession, j'en ai rien à foutre.
For anyone that hasn't had a chance to dive into Deepstone Crypt,
Ça,
they
je
can
suis
get their hands on a raid
dégoûté que
weapon
ça...
as
Bon,
well.
ah, peut-être qu'avec le shader de Calus, ça sera beau.
Yeah, please.
4 variants in there as well. But these are fairly recent weapons, but they are, by default, you have to own the release that those raids came out.
Et je suis dégoûté, par contre, qu'ils aient foutu, genre, pourquoi ils ont foutu un Succession?
Yeah.
Le raid, il est toujours dispo dans le jeu, donc va farm le raid. Je sais qu'il y en a qui font pas de raid, mais ils auraient pu nous foutre une autre arme
Yeah.
au lieu
Which
qu'une arme de
honestly, once
raid
you get succession
qui
in your
existe
hands,
déjà,
suddenly
quoi.
everything feels so alive. It's like a ton of bricks. Let's see. We also have, there we go, Midnight Coup. For anyone who watched last week, thank you, Noah, as well, for going ahead and showing this off. Midnight Coup obviously makes an incredibly triumphant return. Actually, can you adjust it just so it shows the waves in the shader, Tom? There we go.
There we go.
That never gets old, honestly. Harkens back to one of my favorite times in the Black Armory. Excellent. All right, so we have a full list here. So we've gone over all of them in the primary slot. Let's go ahead and move on down
Je
to
trouve
the
horrible le
green
shader
ammo selection as
comparé à
well.
l'arme de base.
Obviously,
Là, il y a le
Recluse
Luna à
chat,
gauche.
You've all noticed that. We're just as happy that it's back as you are.
Ah, mais ils ont ressorti un
take a look at what else
Forbearance,
we got in store
le
here.
lance... Oh,
Luna's Howl.
Ça, c'est
Actually,
dommage.
In particular with Luna's Howl, I know we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but these weapons are not necessarily their previous estate, just kind of held in stasis, but you guys have brought them forward with new perks. You've kind of done some redesigns as well. With Luna Howls in particular, you were mentioning that the Magnificent Howl perk has undergone a rework as well.
Yeah, in its original shipping form, that was way too strong. Because it would let you two-tap a Guardian in PvP incredibly fast with the perk up.
Yeah.
180 RPM. So we've brought Luna's Howl forward as a 140 RPM.
Oh, 140
Retains the precision frame,
et
so
pas
it's super easy to control the recoil.
180.
Yeah.
We've also redesigned the Magnificent Howl perk.
J'avais pas
So
vu.
that now lets
Ça,
you
c'est cool.
build up stacks of super bullets. A little bit reminiscent of Hawkman.
Yeah.
With precision final blows.
Yeah.
And then you can unleash those on Guardians.
Ouh, j'ai peur que ça soit très cheaté en PvP.
Yeah.
And obviously very strong in PvE as well.
Yeah, got to bide your time and actually land those headshots.
Yeah.
I'm saying that mostly to myself in the mirror as I get upset for losing another round of trials, but
So we had two hand cannons in this release, Midnight Coup and Luna's Howl.
that's right. Yeah.
We assigned those to two different designers.
Yeah.
And there's a competition going on to see which one is more popular or is more effective.
Oh, really?
So
everyone out there in chat right now should let us know which one of those two ends up being their favorite.
Yep.
We have an actual debt to settle internally here by the sounds of it. Which one do you think is going to win, Chris?
I'm a little biased.
Little biased?
I have my Midnight Coup from the Leviathan raid still in my vault.
Oh, yeah.
I'm deeply attached to that weapon.
Fair enough. All right.
We'll see.
Let's see here. All
Mais
right.
par contre, le 1830, c'est quoi, ils ont...
Actually, here's a cool one as well.
Ouais, voilà, ça, c'est le...
The Stranger's Rifle.
L'arme
This is
de...
Elsie's rifle now.
Yeah, Elsie's no longer a
D1?
stranger.
That's right, yeah.
But yeah, this is a really iconic Destiny 1 weapon
Ah,
that
voilà.
everyone who played through the Destiny 1 campaign would have acquired as
Yeah.
the Stranger's Rifle. It's come forward with as close to its original feel as we could manage, updated for the Destiny 2 sandbox. It's got a ton of
C'est
traits. It's
un No Time
very,
to
very
Explain,
strong,
mais en
high
légendaire,
impact
quoi.
Yeah.
pulse rifle. It's running the Rewind rounds perk,
Oh, yeah.
which we made for Bolt of Glass.
Yeah.
The D2 version, which harks back to the original perks on the Stranger's Rifle in D1 as well.
And this one already looks filthy, if I might say, with Zen Moment and Desperado on there. Like
Desperado, yeah.
Did the room get colder, or what just happened, honestly? And also, too, so there's a new, actually, as long as we're there, Tom, if you wouldn't mind actually opening that back up, there's a new origin trait, pardon me, as well on these.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, the Indomitability trait, final blows with a light sub-equipped grand grenade energy, and with a
Quand
dark
tu
trait
fais des
final
kills avec une classe de lumière, ça donne de la grenade.
Yeah.
Et si
Does that
c'est avec
keep you
une
playing?
classe de ténèbres, ça
Tom, let's
te
go
donne
ahead
de la
and check
mêlée.
it out. What else do we have in store here?
Ouais, mais tu vois,
Four
pourquoi
Barons as well. So this is you were talking about
Pourquoi
obviously getting
vous
that taste of
remettez
great
des
weapons.
armes qui sont encore
How
disponibles
did
dans
you
le
guys go ahead and
raid?
bring Four Barons forward also
Au lieu de faire ça, tu pouvais pas genre me mettre des armes du raid Léviathan ou de l'arsenal sombre au lieu de reprendre des armes qui existaient déjà.
The Witch Queen version, but with slightly updated perks. So the perk pools are fairly similar, but with a couple of spicy additions. So you'll notice Disruption Break left column on a waveframe grenade launcher, super strong.
Yeah.
It's not something that you get on the original
That'd
version.
be disgusting.
Yeah, but it's
What-
got all of the old classics.
Yeah.
It's got the new Indomitability origin trait instead of the Soul Drinker trait. And that's the same is true of any other weapons which had already shipped with origin traits.
Yeah. Oh, it looks so good with that ornament on there. And of course, I think that was that a limited edition ornament on the Recluse as well that you have over there?
Yep, there's
Yeah,
a base.
yeah.
And
Oh, elle a
Let's
le,
take a look.
le truc de base.
There we go.
Ricochet.
That's, again, the ultimate I was there. As you go ahead and begin your showdown with the Witness, with the arrival of the final shape, doesn't hurt to have one of these sitting on your hip, obviously, to go ahead and make a statement the moment you walk into the room.
Yeah, and this one is the
Ça,
curated
c'est celle que je veux.
natural drops of the limited edition variants do have
Double perk out? That's right. Yeah. Excellent. And of course, our beloved Edge Transit.
Oh, le Age
Looking at
Transit,
the,
rien à foutre.
Fan favorite weapons. Like we wanted to bring forward some of the strongest weapons from Forsaken.
Yeah.
He has like fond memories of blasting away raid bosses with that transit.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. There's amazing memes associated with this weapon.
Yeah.
We actually brought it forward as one of the strongest heavy ammo grenade launchers.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were talking about that earlier. You're saying this
À
one
moins
just
qu'il ait
seems like
bait
an
and switch,
absolute
rien à
ton of
foutre.
bricks now.
Oh yeah, you can see some of the perks there. It's pretty wild.
I mean, honestly, yeah, this is already looking pretty good. This is one that would obviously find a home in my loadout.
À la
My
limite,
boy wants
point de
this,
cascade et
but
bait
I'm
and
also
switch, ça
picky
peut être
about
pas
that
mal,
kind
hein.
of thing. All right, what else do we have here in this bottom row? The one and only, the Falling Guillotine.
Bon,
now,
ça-
actually,
ça,
one thing
c'est-
that you mentioned
ouais.
as we were kind of talking about this earlier as well that was kind of
Ah,
cool.
mais elle a
is
Eager Edge.
This is also going to be probably the first sword outside of those available in Crota's End, I believe, that has sword logic on it as well.
Yeah, that's
potential
right.
to roll with sword logic.
Seemed like a great opportunity to put that perk on something that isn't from that raid.
Yeah.
Je sais plus ce que ça fait logique de l'épée comme perk. Je m'en souviens plus.
Yeah. I'm also going to echo chat here for a second. Is that Eager Edge I see on there?
That is an Eager Edge, yeah.
Okay.
It'll only be the second sword outside of 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
To have access to
It
that.
would
trait.
basically just be the slammer and then the falling guillotine
Yeah,
from that's it. That's exciting.
Yeah, and this one has like the classic Void perk combo of Repulsor Brace,
Yeah.
destabilizing rounds. It's good fun, and a lot of other strong
It just doesn't get old, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course we're also joined by the Hammerhead. Hammerhead, honestly. It's as long as you're dipping your toe into the world of the Black Armory, this is obviously one.
Il y a certaines armes comme la batteuse, le sommet, la recluse, le Luna, le coup de minuit, tout ça. Elles ont des perks incroyables. Bon, je déteste leur shader, mais elles ont des perks incroyables. Et c'est super cool qu'ils les aient remises et qu'on puisse les obtenir. Mais il y en a certaines, genre le lance-grenade. Bon, j'ai pas encore vu toutes les paires, donc au pire le lance-grenade, j'ai pas envie de me prononcer.
Recluse combo here
Mais
And there's some new stuff with Mountaintop too.
là, l'épée...
Rocket jump.
Quoi?
That's right. So I was actually
Quoi?
I'm so glad we got to that point this early because one of the
On peut
things
faire
that
comme
was
sur
really
Halo?
cool about sort of seeing this
Quoi?
development process behind the scenes was, you know, obviously one of the core tenets was to make sure that you're retaining that classic feel of these weapons and kind of what made them so great to begin with. But you've kind of done some redesigns and expanded even just on the loot
Eh
pool,
ben?
or pardon me, on the perk pool rather. How did you guys kind of go about the process of sort of rebuilding
Et du coup,
these
ouais, je suis
weapons for
dégoûté
this
qu'ils aient remis
modern
des armes
era
qui
of
existaient
Destiny?
déjà, avec des
Yeah, I
perks
mean, we held off on
similaires et
bringing
un peu différentes.
Mountaintop,
Ils auraient
into
pu
the sort of
reprendre
Destiny
d'autres armes
was just way too strong
que
in both
ça,
PvP
quoi.
And in PvE.
Yeah.
In PvP, it was like a pretty unpleasant meta when Mountaintop was part of everyone's loadout, so we definitely didn't want it to be able to one-hit kill even with a direct hit in PvP anymore.
Fair.
So we've reduced that a little bit. But we also saw how excited people were for the Danger Zone rocket launcher perk, launching you into the air. So we've made that part of the base behavior of the new micro-missile frame grenade launcher intrinsic. So you do super
Putain, la
low self-damage
recluse.
and give yourself a massive physics.
Je vais pouvoir enlever mon funnel web avec
The
subsistance
Keyforge
et
2 soldier
frenzy.
brigades are just suddenly dusting off their rocket launchers in real time right now, obviously. So obviously too is, you know, going ahead and adding just not only to the perk pool, but kind of the intrinsic feel of these weapons. Were there any others in particular when you guys were working on them where you're like, yes, this is how this change needs to go? Like obviously Magnificent Howl got to change, but is there anything else in that pool that feels like it was really kind of a cool leap forward for these weapons?
I think Blast Furnace is a good example because the Black Armory version rolled with scopes, which, like, everyone would just pick the best scope. Like, internally, we felt like the Rasmussen ISA scope was, like, by far the best. Really, really clean.
J'aurais grave aimé que par exemple à la place du Succession, ils remettent le regard de Tatara, c'était mon sniper préféré.
It doesn't matter that much anymore anyway.
Yeah.
So it comes pre-equipped with that scope geometry, but it can roll barrels instead. So you get all the benefits of stats.
Oh, awesome.
Stats are already pretty juiced.
Yeah.
But you have that classic scope geo.
Actually, also too, to channel chat one more time, as a quick heads up as well, these weapons, while they won't be craftable, they are going to be enhanceable, is that correct?
Correct, yeah. So these weapons will
Oh, on va pouvoir leur mettre des... Elles sont pas craftables, mais on va pouvoir leur mettre des perks améliorés, donc le sommet recluse...
Excellent, okay. So you want to make sure
Voilà.
that light.gg went ahead and told you about, yeah. All right, so Tom, you've swapped your loadout now? Is this Blast Furnace we see you were?
Yeah, you were just talking about Blast Furnace, so I thought I'd hop over to it.
En vrai, je pense que celui-là, là, de Pulse, là, au fourneau, il sera pas mal en PvE. Hein. Il était déjà pas mal à l'époque.
On your side, you know, obviously having this new tapestry of rewards to work with has been pretty exciting. As you kind of went ahead and sort of hatched your plans of how players would go about getting these, kind of what role did these weapons play, I guess, in the overall reward structure?
Yeah, of course. So we
Putain, mais
wanted the
Killing Tally
rewards of
Rampage,
this release to be all about the weapons.
ça va être incroyable.
Stars, they're awesome. So I saw people were asking a little bit about what we're going to be getting from Onslaught.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chests in there, and every single chest has a weapon in it, and all of those chests can react to attunement. So if you attune to a weapon, anytime you see a chest, it's going to happen. So
Excellent.
every wave, every set, not every wave, that'd be crazy. Every
Donc il y a plein de
set,
coffres cachés ou quelque
there's a
chose comme
chest
ça,
open,
où
and
j'ai
if
pas
you do
trop...
it
Enfin, en tout cas, il y a plein de
at higher
coffres dans
difficulty,
la
two
nouvelle
chests,
activité
they will have
Onslaught.
buttons on them. And if you keep the AD
Et
alive
si
throughout
on
the
a fait le
Onslaught,
truc
there's
à la
bonus
statue, on peut
chests
augmenter nos chances
available.
d'obtenir une
So
arme.
you can get a lot. If you
Chaque
just
coffre
keep
qu'on va
yourself
ouvrir, on
in
aura
there
l'arme.
and get all the way through
Si
there,
j'ai bien
keep the
compris.
ADU up. There's a lot of guns to be had.
So those folks who are going to dive into the Legend 50-wave version of Onslaught are going to be well rewarded for those efforts. I'm asking partially for myself, obviously, as well, and my fire team at home who might be listening.
Weapons team is really excited about attunement because it gives players some control over the drops that they get, but it retains the excitement of those drops. Like you will get your Blast Furnace dropping from the chest. You don't have to go and focus it or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which, we love that.
Actually, also too is, you know, you guys are also players of the game. Chris, were there any roles or weapons in particular where it was just your personal favorite that you had a lot of fun with in a playtest, or?
Probably of these weapons, my favorite is Blast Furnace.
Yeah.
With that classic scope and...
Putain, mais je viens de repenser encore le sommet avec holster de recharge auto, ça va être un trésor asséché mais en légendaire. Ah, putain, il me tarde tellement. C'était mon arme préférée avec Anarchie Recluse. J'adorais.
I'll be right there with you, honestly. The moment I can put Dead Man's Tail down again, then that will be the one that'll pick up immediately after. Kelsey, also too, is I know we were talking a little bit earlier. You've been deep into the Onslaught playtests as well, so that means in addition to the Brave Arsenal, you've got everything else at your beck and call. What are some cool builds you've been working on, honestly, to go ahead and really emphasize these new weapons?
Yeah, I've been really enjoying Solar Warlock. I found is really fun in Onslaught because you can find a lane and just completely.
T'as mon chasseur solaire là avec Zaouli Sommet,
You can just completely destroy. So I've been
les prédateurs
really
du
partial
Zénith.
to Luna's Howl.
Fair.
Yeah, I tend to get a little feral, a little too excited. Sometimes having like heal clip on it or something can give me that extra staying power I need to keep that ADU up.
It's part of, you got to be in the fight as much as you possibly can, and I say that partially as a Void Hunter who crutches on invisibility and runs away right away, so I understand and respect the hustle that I don't end up having. Also too, we got a question from chat from Lil Camino, I think is how you pronounce the name. My mistake if you didn't get it correct. But just to reiterate, will these weapons be attainable after the final shape arrives?
Yes, the base weapons will be, but the limited edition variants with those sweet ornaments will not.
Excellent. All right. So again, make sure you go ahead and dive on it.
D'accord, ok, j'ai parlé trop vite.
Into the Light is here. Make sure you get that I was there
Du coup, je suis désolé.
more or less, at least again.
Le skin qu'elles ont, ces armes-là,
So also too is, I heard
c'est
you guys mention
spécifique à cet événement-là en fait.
as well, 'cause kind of like a part of the
Les armes
quest,
ensuite
process, was it with
pourront
Shax or
continuer
something
d'être
like that?
obtenues à partir de la forme finale,
So, is this one
prochain
that you guys
DLC,
have set up where it's
mais elles
like,
n'auront
this
pas
is-
ce skin-là.
this is the go-to role?
Elles auront le
This is
skin de
our
base.
opinion,
Et
like
ça,
one of our
franchement, c'est
favorites,
cool.
Or, what was the process of kind of building those curated roles?
Yeah, we try to deliver something which is like an extremely good role, not necessarily the single perfect role, because we want you to have a reason to go in and get excited for those drops.
Yeah.
But like we would say,
61 000. Bon, après, c'est un secteur perdu. Hein.
God roll,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, on the way, certainly.
Yeah.
And also, too, is remember, everyone, we were getting 100 more vault slots once.
Imagine sur le sommet, tu peux avoir ambition assassine ou envie assassine.
Sorry, Kelsey, you were going to say something more.
Yeah, we also just wanted to make sure people weren't completely at the mercy of RNG when it comes to getting these limited edition variants. So if you log in, you do those quests at our site, you can get one guaranteed copy of a limited edition of each weapon with that curated role.
Yeah.
Oh, si on fait la quête chez le mec à côté de Shax, le robot, on peut obtenir le god roll de l'époque.
The
Quoi.
origin trait, we just got another question about actually. So for the folks at home, it's Indomitability or?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. And that one, can you again walk through that origin trait for us one more time?
Yeah, so on Final Blows, it grants you grenade energy if you're running a light subclass.
Here we go. We got it on screen.
Yeah, there we go.
Putain, ça, je te jure, sur ma doctrine solaire,
Or melee energy.
ça va être génial. Parce que je joue grenade de soin, donc je vais avoir ma grenade tout le temps.
Okay, so I can go in there's a stasis man and just throw all the shurikens I possibly have. Yeah, there's a more technical thing for that. I'm sorry, I got it wrong out of the gate. All right, let's see here. And also too, actually, we talked kind of at the beginning about what it was like to sort of pare down this list of weapons down to 12. Can you tell us a little bit about that process? I can't imagine it was anywhere near as simple.
12 was a really small number when you're looking at that set of weapons. And if
Yeah.
we'd gone by lists on the internet or even internally,
Yeah.
it could easily have ended up being half hand cannons. We had to restrict ourselves to 2.
Fair.
There were a lot that could easily have made the cut that we
Yeah.
just couldn't fit them in.
That's fair. I mean, honestly, though, between Midnight Coup and Luna's Howl, like a very, very solid cast to go ahead and come out of the gate here with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really strong. And
They,
yeah, we definitely wanted to get that spread of experience across the first few years of Destiny 2 as well.
Yeah, honestly. And also, too, is even, recalling all the way back to the Black Armory. That's, I think, a set of weapons that so many of us think back to so fondly. Again, I think one of the goals here was to go ahead and retain that original feel. You guys went ahead and added in a bunch of new perks. Can you tell us what that process was like in terms of making sure those perks matched up with that feel of the weapon?
Yeah, and in cases where we have multiple weapons in the same archetype shipping, so we've got 2 pulse rifles, 2 hand cannons, we assigned those to different designers and made sure that the roles that they occupy in the sandbox were sufficiently different. We also would look at the most popular roles that the weapons had originally and make sure that those still appear on the weapons. It meant having to redesign some perks, which would be too strong in today's sandbox.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Ouais, c'est ça, c'est vraiment l'impulsion du SD. Hein.
Like when you go and you look at a blast bonus in your vault or something, you're like, man, I wish I could roll X perk that came out after that, right?
Yeah.
And made sure we put a few of those in there as well.
Yeah. And there's also, I'm not sure if we've seen it on screen yet, but there's a new perk that'll be joining this pool as well, won't there?
Yeah, there is. There's in this build, it's called Last Stand. The
Ouais,
shipping
voilà,
name
c'est
is
ça.
different.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a pretty sweet perk. If we could bring up the description of that when Tom is out of danger.
Ouais, sur le haut fourneau, il y avait une perf que je connaissais pas.
Blast furnace, I think.
Ouais, last end.
Oh, there we go. All right, well, we'll let him defend himself briefly. But we do have a couple questions from chat as well. So there's one that asks, Flo's Knuckles, I believe. There we go. Can we grind
Qu'est-ce que ça
onslaught
fait?
multiple times for multiple drops? I'm assuming this is just go ahead and dive on it and grind to your heart's content.
Quand tu fais des kills, ça te donne plus de... En gros, c'est kill clip. Mais en même temps, quand on fait des dégâts, enfin quand on tue avec notre mêlée ou notre grenade, ça fait encore plus de dégâts. C'est pas mal en vrai comme perk.
Also, too, one more quick question from chat. Mega12358, pardon me.
Ce serait peut-être plutôt une perk PVP que PVE, mais je le vois bien fonctionner en PVE.
Put it on another copy of the weapon, or is it just on that one weapon?
So you can remove it, you can't put it on something else.
Cool.
It's locked to the weapon that it dropped on.
Makes sense, yeah. I mean, honestly, when it looks that good, you just gotta go ahead and stick with what you got, you know?
Yeah, if players have a favorite shader that they want to put on a weapon, they can remove it and put the shader on.
Yeah, that's true.
Can't shade the ornaments.
You can go ahead and photo finish it up to your heart's content, obviously, that opportunity. Or super black, obviously, when the time arrives. All right. So, Tom, what are you running right now?
I've just been hopping around with all the weapons here. Now I've got Blast Furnace and Elsie's rifle on. I know double primary isn't always meta, but
We're going to make it meta for the sake of
they're
this
both
particular lost sector.
pretty solid weapons.
For purposes of illustration.
Now here's that new perk that you both were talking about, Last Stand. On
Again, reminder, this
Blast
name will be
Furnace.
changing in the live version.
Yep.
Yeah, so weapon final blows grant bonus damage. Melee and grenade final blows grant a larger damage bonus that can stack. So
Les
once
noms,
you
ils
get
sont
this perk
susceptibles
reroll,
de changer
very strong.
apparemment.
Yeah.
Sustain it.
Nice way to go ahead and clear out a bunch of red bars and then take down that yellow bar with ease if
Yep.
you go ahead and do everything correctly.
Yeah, it ties nicely into the origin trait as well, because the origin trait grants you energy for your abilities.
Ah mais t'as même pas besoin de recharger en fait, c'est dès que tu fais un kill. Ah,
Really creates
oh, ça sera en vrai, oui, ouais, c'est une bonne perk. Tu le mets avec subsistance ou un
which as a
truc comme
guardian
ça.
is never a bad place to find yourself, frankly.
Ça peut être pas mal du tout.
Let's see here. Actually, also too is, you know, I know we touched obviously on Chris's personal favorite being Blast Furnace. Kelsey, was there anything when you saw this land back on the list of the Brave Arsenal where you were like, finally, that one's back?
S'il y a une PM un jour qui sort avec cette perk, comme par exemple le Funnel Web, à la place de Frenzy, tu fous cette perk.
Tom, how about
Et
you?
tu
Is
gardes
there anything in particular
subsistance,
that, you know, obviously having taken
c'est
such
génial.
a big hand in helping design and sort of define all this stuff, you know, what are your favorite weapons and roles that have come out of this?
I'm pretty basic, pretty easy. I really am excited about Recluse and Mountaintop.
Yeah.
Like I just love that combo of being able to like get in close with an SMG and get the damage perk going and feeling really powerful, then being able to switch to the grenade launcher and fire off some like little mini rockets and be able to play around with getting a little more airborne is just like, it's just fun.
Can already imagine some.
J'aime bien ce qu'ils ont fait avec le sommet là, pouvoir sauter en l'air.
And I look forward to like, you know, not accidentally blowing myself up, but it's a lot harder to do now. Like I remember with Mountaintop back in the day, I would just like shoot my feet on purpose and like it was usually like an instant death, and so you can really you get a lot more up close and personal with it.
Yeah, let's see. Fit nicely into a lot of builds. Honestly, I can already see a Tommy's matchbook build with that. Just floating up there in the sky as a warlock, just murdering everyone. But that is to say, now there's an opportunity for more than just warlocks to be the floating weapon platforms out there in the game. Yeah. I know, Kelsey. I'm sorry. we can share.
Yes.
We can share the abilities.
Particularly with the redesign of Manticore, there's a fun strategy. I don't know how super effective it is, but
Yeah.
like mountaintop to launch yourself way up into the air.
Yeah.
And switch over to Manticore.
Yeah.
And you can just hover around.
Just seems like a fever dream I had one time, honestly. Also, too, for the folks at home that may not have seen the Manticore kind of redesign.
Je suis quand même encore en train de réfléchir à ce lance-grenade parce que moi j'ai le cataphracte, donc en soi les autres lance-grenades ils sont pas forcément très utiles. Mais celui-là, vu qu'il a point de cascade et qu'en plus il peut avoir des pertes de dégâts, ça peut être vraiment pas mal.
You can also just deactivate it by holding reload, and we'll do that quick special reload animation.
Oh, very nice.
Before you have to wait for it to expire or like switch off.
Si t'as une fenêtre de DPS très courte, ça peut être intéressant.
Just giving you damage resistance now gives you a void overshield, which
Oh, nice.
Of course, also gives you damage resistance, but
Yeah.
can tie into void builds in a pretty synergistic way.
Very nice, honestly. Yeah, between that, Devour, the whole nine, obviously, there's going to be a lot of mobile weapon.
Survivability is wild. It also decreases enemy accuracy against you, similar to the always-on-time Sparrow. So
Yeah.
you've got a ton more like damage resistance. You've got an overshield, and enemies are missing you all the time. So it's combined with being able to launch yourself up into the air easily with mountaintop.
Yeah.
It's good fun.
That's also too, actually. We got a question from chat that is, what's the difference between the new perk and Golden Tricorn? They sound pretty similar.
They do have kind of similar functionality. The big one is that the Golden Tricorn bonus is large, but doesn't stack once you get it. So the uptime on the new perk, whose name I can't remember,
Yep.
it's not in this book, we changed it, is that the uptime is higher.
Excellent. Okay. Makes sense. Also, too, it's we got another chat as well. Chat question, pardon me, I should say. Will the weapon ornaments for Luna's Howl and the Recluse be equipable for the new versions of those weapons?
Yes, they will.
Oh, awesome.
Both for the base versions and for the variants, you can equip any ornaments that you've got. Players have already noticed that some of those are showing up later in the season in the Bright Dust Storm.
For anyone out there that might go ahead and check through the databases, they might have noticed something potentially.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't say yes or no, but maybe. Firm maybe.
J'ai pas écouté ce qu'ils ont dit.
Excellent. All right, so we're doing a pretty good job here. Tom, I gotta say, it seems like you're making some pretty good quick work of these lost sectors.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like he's played them before.
Maybe once or twice, potentially? You never know.
I did work on EDZ. It's been a while, though.
So Tom, actually also too is, you know, as you've kind of been helping sort of build a lot of what Into the Light is going to be, you know, what was the role that these weapons played? Like why is Shaxx choosing now to go ahead and re-equip us with this particular set of antiquities?
And part of the idea is that it's like this forbidden arsenal, right? The things that aren't, that we've kind of set aside, at least in the Crucible and other spaces, and now in this kind of dire time with our backs against the wall, we need to, you know, kind of set aside those conventions and you know, really take every advantage we can in the fight against the Witness, and kind of like, you know, having players in this moment, you know, with Into the Light, you know, it's a great time to hop in and play if you haven't been playing, or if you want to catch up, and we're going to give you the weapons you need to be ready for the final shape. Like as long as you show up every week, you do the work, you're going to get like an incredible arsenal.
C'est pareil, le sommet s'il peut avoir genre point de cascade ou des trucs comme ça, ambition assassine, ça... Bah non, maintenant je suis con, il pourra pas avoir point de cascade. Mais quelque chose comme ambition assassine, tout ça, ça peut être intéressant.
And also too, I just got word from back at home that also Noah is apparently back at home after last week's stream in chat, cheering everyone on. So if everyone out there wants to give him a quick yeah, great in chat, now's the time.
Ouais, il était sympa, Noah. C'était le mec qui jouait, qui faisait le gameplay la semaine dernière avec le Buried Bloodline là, et le Kuni. J'ai bien aimé.
That obviously hinges pretty heavily on auto-loading holster because I never want to stop shooting any grenades. I'm one of those. I'm sorry, everyone. We're getting some love for Noah in the chat. All right, love to see it. So also too, actually, you know, over the course of developing kind of this new reward structure, was there anything about it where you're like, all right, this is the moment, like Onslaught is set up just right. Like what was it like kind of building this structure for players to go ahead and just reinvest in, I guess?
Yeah. I think when we finally got the loot explosion going,
yeah,
there was this whole conversation and how we wanted to feel when you open the chest and all this stuff, and all these people working together doing tech stuff to make sure it all worked great and everyone doing their part, and then, you know,
en vrai, ces streams ils sont bien parce qu'ils permettent de remonter la hype, mais je suis en train de me dire, imagine t'aurais pas eu ces streams et c'est en découvrant en fait en jouant l'activité que tu découvres le loot. Ça aurait peut-être pas fait revenir autant de monde, mais je pense que la surprise elle aurait été plus incroyable.
Like this, you know. Did you guys have that vision of the Hollow Shaxes like right away? You were like, this is how we want it to be, or was it just, what was the evolution of that space like when you guys were building it?
It was really fun working with world art and all this stuff. We had a bunch of people in the room, everyone who's dedicated to the space in some capacity, and we were just brainstorming together and laughing and coming up with all these fun ideas. So it was a huge collaborative process, and I think that's what's so magical about working in games, is you get to work with all these people who know all these things that you don't. and make something so cool and awesome.
Yeah. Actually, also too, we got one more quick question from chat that caught my eye. Is the Master of Arms perk as powerful as before?
No, it's had to be toned down a little bit.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, it's still very
ok.
strong. But yeah, that original version is pretty wild.
Kind of in a league
La
of its own,
perk
certainly.
maître des armes là de la recluse, elle a été un peu réduite parce qu'elle était trop forte avant. En soi, en PvE, je pense qu'on
All
verra
right,
pas
Tom.
forcément
So
trop la
what's your,
différence.
what's
Mais en
strat right
PvP,
now? Is it
c'était
basically just
nécessaire.
Old West gunslinger?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a chance to play with all these guns either, so I'm just having fun over here. Like you can do your stream over there. I'm just gonna play with Midnight Coup here, which just it just feels so snappy and crispy. Like I just gotta point it in the right direction. It
This
does
one
a
has
lot of the work.
Explosive rounds and kinetic tremors. Is that what it has? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Like you can just, you don't even really need to be that accurate, I guess, with this roll. I can just kind of shoot around enemies. And
Make
it
them
does-
dance like in the Old West.
Pretty sure this is still the highest aim assist of any legendary hand cannon in the game too.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
That's what are some roles, by the way? So obviously, I think they each kind of have their different PvP and PvE flavors. But in the PvE trenches, are there any roles in particular with this new kind of set of perks that you were really caught off guard by or surprised by?
I mean, Firefly Kinetic Tremors is really, really strong. I think that was actually the role that Noah was running last week.
Yeah, he was making it look pretty good,
Yeah,
thankfully.
he's smart.
And Noah's all right at the game, as it turns out.
Yeah. What else? I think the role that we've got here on Edge Transit, which is Cascade Point left column.
Yeah.
Being able to just like mag dump
Yeah.
a whole drum grenade launcher, it's really strong.
Yeah.
The burst damage potential is wild.
And also, too, actually, another question from chat. To get the double perk rolls on the weapons, do you have to do higher level onslaughts, or is there a chance for them to drop with double perks in each column regardless?
There is always a chance. Those are the limited edition variants.
Yeah. And also, too, just a quick reminder is the quests from chat, or from our site, rather. Those ones have a higher chance of giving you one of the limited edition variants, or?
Those give you the curated ones, right? The
Yes,
Curated?
those
That's
are
right,
the curated
thank you.
ones. So pretty much that's just that's a guarantee that you can get them. But anytime you get a brave weapon, there's a chance that it will have the double perks and the awesome appearance on it. So
Very cool.
that was actually a really fun thing. Once it kind of got that implemented, playing through the first time, you just naturally got one.
Yeah.
Like you'll be in a playtest time, oh, I got one. I got
Yeah.
a limited edition one. It's just a really fun,
It's
fun
kind of
feeling.
even just that excitement of like when you're out there doing a dungeon farm or whatever the case is, and you're checking through all the guns that are sitting in your mailbox, and you're just like, oh, that initial set of rolls is pretty cool, and then you click in and you're like, wait, I can curate this to exactly what I want it to be. Like that moment's always pretty rewarding, honestly. So as a quick reminder to everyone in chat, so the Brave Arsenal will be able to drop from Onslaught at every stage, was it? Every 10 levels?
Yes, every set.
Excellent. Okay, set. Thank you very much. All right. See, we have the experts here, obviously. All right, Tom. What's next on the list? Which lost sector is going to wilt against your powers?
I think I'm gonna go, and I don't know what it's called, but it's on top of the rocks here, I think, right? That's where it's at? I'm trying to remember.
I think so. You just go ahead and drop on down in.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Those fallen aren't going to be safe for long.
Yeah. Can't die from full damage anymore.
It's true. Who could possibly do that? That's what we have the mountaintop to do, or to use for rather to get those kills on ourselves.
Oh, wrong way. This is the right way.
And actually, also too, so a lot of questions in chat about the pools of perks that are going to be available, the weapons that are going to be available. You and your team over on the weapons team have also gone ahead and authored a blog that will be hitting Bungie.net tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah, that's going to list out all of the weapons and all of the perks that can appear on them. So no mystery about the perk pools as of tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ils n'ont pas parlé d'exotiques. Ils n'ont pas parlé de la tour reconstruite. Donc je sais pas s'il y aura des exotiques. Et la tour, ce sera peut-être le prochain stream.
Actually, so also too, we've talked a lot about the Brave Arsenal. Let's go ahead and touch on the parade set again. What was kind of the inspiration behind that set and kind of bringing it forward now? This is kind of like a first full circle moment rather that I know Tom was mentioning, but why is Shaxx choosing now to equip us with this armor set?
I frankly wasn't as involved in those kind of conversations.
No, it's okay.
It was actually really
Here we go.
fun. Look beautiful. Kind
J'ai
of waiting
faim.
to see how
J'aimerais bien qu'il se termine vite là le stream.
Right away, which armor set we were getting. And
Here we
just
go.
So excited to see him in the chest. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think honestly that first look at them in the key art. You know, obviously there was an initial glimpse, and it's weird because even as good as they looked, they were almost like everyone was just immediately captivated by Onslaught, immediately captivated by like, is that Blast Furnace in that Warlock's hands? Who knows?
If you're trying to bring back players' favorites, like there is so much nostalgia for that Parade armor set.
Yeah.
Bringing that back and updating it a little bit. Like I still run the Parade armor set on my character from time to time as well.
Gotta have that classic look.
En vrai, la cape, elle
And obviously getting a
est
chance to
quand même
go and chase
stylée.
down
Hein.
Super Black doesn't hurt either.
Looks very cool when you
J'aime bien le torse aussi, mais je sais pas trop avec quoi est-ce qu'il pourra bien passer.
won't say much.
Après, les jambes, j'aime pas de fou, et bras, bof, bof.
Alrighty. So let's go ahead and take one more quick run through. So this, is there anything else actually? So I know we've had a chance to walk through the Brave Arsenal. Tom, in particular on your side, you know, we've gone ahead and kind of gone around the horn over here. Is there anything about this kind of new set of weapons and sort of the role they play in Into the Light that's got you excited about kind of the overall sandbox now that we're going to have available to us?
I'm really excited about a lot of these weapons are they're not god rolls, but they're pretty close to it. Like if you show up every week and you do the weekly quest, you're going to get something that is really pretty powerful, and it's going to be like, for example, just looking at like the Hammerhead here, it's got Rampage and Killing Tally on it.
Ouais, voilà.
It's just incredible, like for PvE.
Boucherie, Killing Tally.
Right? Like, and then you're also increasing damage every time you take an enemy out, which is cool. And I could look at each one of these weapons too, and they like, I think we might have glossed over it earlier, but the Edge Transit with Cascade Point, like you get a kill and then you can dump the whole mag in like 2 or 3 seconds, which is really powerful. And I think people are going to find a lot of great synergies between these weapons. Like I was even, like Mountaintop.
Les armes de raid qui sont déjà dans le jeu, je pense que je vais pas les farm, et l'épée, là, la guillotine actionnée, je pense que je vais en farm une, peut-être avec la main patiente, et c'est tout. Après le reste, je vais tout farm, parce que c'est des armes qu'on peut plus obtenir. Lance-grenade à voir les perks qu'il aura.
And then like there's also just some classic weapons here that I really miss, that I'm really excited for Blast Furnace to be back, and I'm excited to see what it does to the meta with these being like relevant in the power game again and being something that is accessible to players new and old.
Yeah. Someone who spends a lot of time in the Crucible, I'm terrified already. Proctor, thank you very much for all the hard work on that. To you and yours, obviously. All right, so I think we're probably getting to a point now. We've gone ahead and checked out the rewards. We've checked out the new social space. We've checked out the Brave Arsenal. It's probably about time for us to go ahead and start wrapping things up here. Mr. Tom Farnsworth, when you get an opportunity, feel free to go ahead and rejoin us. Relinquish your hold from the throne world, obviously. This is so fast. Your jump ship was right in orbit, wasn't it?
Right here.
I hear it's lovely this time of year out there in the throne world.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's, Noah and Kelsey have been keeping it warm for me in there.
That's true. All right, fair enough. Yeah, and again, we can use some sword logic later to expand it when the time comes. But for right now, we've gone ahead and done our job. Well, for starters, thank you all so much for taking time to join us to talk us through, obviously, the Hall of Champions, talk us through the Brave Arsenal, through everything with Into the Light. It's been a great show. So thank you guys for starters for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely. And also, too, as a quick reminder, again, to everyone, we'll be back next week, the same Bungie time, same Bungie place, to have another live stream about everything, or some more stuff coming with Destiny 2 Into the Light, including some exotic mission, some exotic mission content and weapons that'll be available to them.
Le prochain live.
Also, we'll be going to go ahead and walk through the PvP map pack as well. So if you want to see everything that's going to be coming in those 3 maps, next week will be your time. And there might be a few more additional surprises that we'll have in store for you. Never know. But, and also, too, the final thing we're going to go ahead and make sure you close with is, as a quick reminder, of course, with the arrival of the final shape, you'll be able to get 100 more slots in your vault. As you can go ahead and see here on camera, we put it to good use ourselves. We had some Edge Transit rolls. We knew that this was the time and place to go.
Ils ont fait le même.
In there. So we now have those, thankfully, in safekeeping now for the arrival of the Witness.
Ready.
Never hurts. All right, everyone. Well, thank you all so much for taking the time to join us today. We'll see you back here next week at the same Bungie time, same Bungie place. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you all Starside.
Prochain live la semaine prochaine. Une mission exotique, certainement le Whisper, puisqu'il était derrière le canapé. peut-être l'infection parfaite, mais j'en doute. Mais en tout cas, Whisper, j'en suis presque sûr. Ils ont parlé d'exotiques, donc peut-être du coup tout ce qui était les exotiques là que j'ai dit à la fin qu'on n'a pas vu, s'ils en rajoutent, ou alors peut-être tout simplement certaines exotiques qui vont revenir dans ces missions exo, comme le Whisper ou l'infection parfaite si ça revient. Ils ont parlé d'armes craftables, donc est-ce que le Whisper sera vraiment craftable? On verra bien. Et ils ont parlé aussi qu'ils allaient nous montrer les 3 prochaines nouvelles maps PVP, donc celle sur Europe, celle sur Neptune et celle sur le vaisseau terraformé des pyramides. J'ai hâte. Moins hâte qu'aujourd'hui, parce qu'aujourd'hui ça m'intéressait vraiment de voir s'il y avait le sommet et la recluse. Mais j'ai quand même hâte, et franchement, tous ceux qui ont déversé de la haine la semaine dernière sur les développeurs et sur le stream là, en disant ouais, map réutilisé et tout, rien à foutre, le loot il est incroyable. Vous êtes juste jamais contents, c'est tout. Enfin voilà, on se retrouvera pour la semaine prochaine, et en attendant, abonnez-vous, mettez un j'aime si vous avez aimé, n'hésitez pas à faire un tour sur ma chaîne, il y a d'autres vidéos qui vont sortir d'ici la semaine prochaine, et je pense qu'il y a déjà pas mal de contenu qui est là, avec lequel vous allez pouvoir vous amuser. Donc voilà, à la semaine prochaine.